Hey guys, welcome back to Open It and Play. This is Mike. Today we're going to be looking at the Maximum Series Spider-Man. This is the controversial figure, of course, but I wanted to see what he was like, and I'm honestly always on the search for good Spider-Man figures because he's one of my top two favorite characters, him and Iron Man. I've liked him since I was like 13 or so, but Spider-Man's story is just very compelling. But anyway, this Spider-Man looks quite a bit like the 90s Spider-Man that I kind of was into when I was getting into comics. So around the time of the Clone Saga, or just after that, I guess maybe. But and not after. It was slightly before. But anyway, I think that the proportions on this figure are really good for me. We had some other figures in the recent past, like the Renew Your Vows, but this one I feel he's too tall for Spider-Man. He's just too tall for me. And this one, Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man, was depicting his first appearance when he's a teenager. This one is great, and I actually want to get it in the brighter blue colors, but I haven't gotten around to getting it since it's quite expensive to get from that Spidey 3-pack. But yeah, so all of them have some pluses and minuses. You can see the color variation between the three. We have the darkest one with Amazing Fantasy, and then this is in the middle, the Maximum series, and this one is the lightest. But honestly, I think the Mafex's lighter blue is more colorful and more interesting to me. But anyway, we're going to get this guy out of the box. I'll show you what the sides look like if you haven't seen them before. And hopefully everything comes in focus or is clear. We're doing this in 8K like usual, so hopefully everything is nice and clear. Okay, and then top of the box looks just like that. And the bottom of the box here, I do have a sticker on mine because I'm in Japan. So okay, and I got this guy online at the price wasn't too bad. I think with the current exchange rate he was about 56 US dollars, but that was including the shipping fee, so I was very happy with it. But okay, I'll get him out. So he comes with a lot of accessories. Some people will say they're kind of overblown or they're not that big of a deal, but I am happy with the accessories from what I've seen. I did take him out and I tried to get a feel for the character before I did the review. So the tape's going to look messed up on this, but he comes with a lot of stuff, 2 alternate heads, this kind of web ball, the kind of snatching web, a web shield, these 2 miscellaneous webs that are web lines, and then he has gripping hands, sticking hands, thwipping hands shooting out the webbing, and then these web shooter without his gloves, the web shooter hands. The problem with these is maybe you can tell the hands are actually bigger than these hands, so it doesn't quite match with the rest of the figure. And then he comes with fists automatically in the box. So a lot of people don't like this face. I want to give the artist some credit, but yeah, it really doesn't. It looks like a human face, but it does not look like a Peter Parker face. So unfortunately, that's a big drawback. Okay, and we've got 2 trays. I kind of like how they did the overlapping thing here. But we also have this little stand. So we're going to look at the accessories first, like usual. The stand you can just assemble like this. This goes in the base. I hope you can see it clearly. I'm going to see if I can zoom in, brighten that up a little bit. Sorry, it's the early evening, so the thing doesn't want to show up bright. And now it looks like it's not focused. Okay. I'm sorry, it's taken a while. Okay, so the stand is very simple, but it is kind of low to the ground. So when you get the figure actually standing, his shots are going to be basically aiming down. And I think that's kind of a missed opportunity, but you may have some other stands that you can use with these things. We'll show you how that ports in now. We get this one out first, the kind of web entangling one. It's got a nice sculpt to it. I like the way it looks, except for the paint job. It's kind of a clear plastic that's soft and flexible, so it's not going to break easily. But unfortunately, it doesn't look white. To me, Spider-Man's webbing is whiter than this. But if we see on here carefully, where is it? It does have a little hole. It's actually really hard to see. Can you see that in that groove? There's actually a tiny hole in there. So we'll plug that in just like this. There we go. But yeah, you can see it goes pretty low. So if Spider-Man's shooting down, it works easily. If he's shooting up, it works easily. But if he's just standing still, he can't shoot across. So kind of a missed opportunity, I'm afraid. Okay, and we'll get that, we'll get that web ball. We just lost a couple of his hands. I'll grab that in just a moment. Okay, for the web ball, you can see it here. It's got a pretty good sculpt, but it doesn't look quite like the way I imagine his web balls. It's just a little bit too big. And it also has a very well hidden hole or port there. So we plug that in and it goes like this. So it's not too bad. It's a little bit flat on the bottom, but to me it really reminds me of a chest burster from Aliens. So it's not quite what I imagined for Peter Parker's webbing. But anyway, it's nice that they tried to do it, but again, kind of a bit of a miss. Okay, continuing with the web accessories, we have the web shield. It uses the dreaded clip system, but this thing, the good part is if it does break, I think you could pop it out relatively easy, and you could probably use a white twisty or a twisty tie in there. And if you did that, I think you could get that. I'm going to try to brighten that up for you. I think you could get that to hang on his arm and even maybe closer to his arm, so that might work better. But yeah, and again, it's a little too clear. They did put a wash on it, but it's very shiny. I'm going to dry brush white. I do like this a lot because Spider-Man is often depicted with a web shield, and that's the first time we've got that from what I know. Maybe Toy Biz did it back in the day. Okay, going with his hands, these are the thwipping hands that include the webbing. So I think they're nicely done. They both look very free, and I don't know. It just looks like the freedom of being Spider-Man. He's just woo flying everywhere. He doesn't fly obviously, but web swinging. And then if we go with the other web accessory, sorry, no, I'll do that after the hands. We'll continue with the hands because I said we would. Okay, these are the web shooter hands. Is it focused? Okay. But again, the problem is they're a little bit oversized for this figure. They would probably work better with the Renew Your Vows figure, but unfortunately he doesn't have these like ports on his hands. So okay, and next set I'll grab are his wall crawling hands. So gonna stick into the wall hands. They are nice. They hinge this way. I think you can see that. Whoop, like that. So that's a good addition. A very necessary part for most Spider-Man. Okay, and then he has these hands, which are also thwipping. This one's almost relaxed, so it's kind of curled in. I don't know, but I think it's supposed to be that way. It's more like a hand in a relaxed pose. But yeah, so I think they look pretty good too. All right, and the last set of hands, other than his fist that he comes with on the character, these are his gripping ones. So you can have him holding the web line, you can have him holding something or pulling a gear or something like that. Okay, and continuing with the accessories, the two that I forgot earlier. Now these are probably the least useful in my opinion, but a big problem is the color. Again, it's got a lot of detail on it, but unfortunately it just looks really like translucent or shiny. If they would have made that just a bit more of white, I think it would work better. They're extremely flexible. Hopefully they don't kind of melt over time, but they're very flexible. So you might be able to tie up for some diorama or something. You might be able to tie up some bad guys. Okay, and we'll get the two heads, alternate heads out. Here is the Peter Parker head, which really doesn't look like Peter Parker. From like this angle, it would be okay. From this angle, starting to look a bit funny, and then he just kind of looks like full on crazy a bit. But yeah, I think the artist has some talent, but it's not close enough to matching Peter Parker, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, I think I'll probably use it as like a random stranger guy's figure, like an extra in the background in a diagram. Okay, and then the other head is this one, and we'll get the spider sense out at the same time. So other head, it's supposed to be his eye is sort of squinting, but there is like an impression. This actually sinks down a little bit inside the white part. So if you had like liquid green stuff or something, you might be able to fill that in, or you might be able to sculpt it slightly so it's more of a squint. That's how I would imagine it if it's kind of the 90s depiction. And then he has the spider sense here. It's painted on one side, but it looks pretty good from either side. Mine actually has like a line going through it, which is actually very annoying. I don't think that's, yeah, it's not broken, but it actually has a defect in there. It's got kind of like a hair going through there, but it's really, really, really hard to notice. I don't think that is, yeah, that's actually inside the plastic. That is super weird. But anyway, it's not really noticeable unless you're super up close. But I don't know if you can even notice it when I get in this close. Can you tell? No, it's a little bit too hard to see, I think. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna have to give up on that one. Okay, but anyways, it ports onto the head like this. So it looks pretty good. I like it. You could make it a different color if you painted it carefully. But actually I have yellow ones that are already... Oh, you may be able to see that black hair. Do you see that black line or black hair or whatever it is through there? Anyway, oh, it might be... Yeah, I think it's a hair. Anyway, I already have yellow ones. Sorry, I'm mumbling. But I already have yellow spider sense that I got off eBay that works well. So I'm happy with both. Okay, and here is the figure himself. This guy is... Oops. I'm going to try to adjust the lighting a little bit. Bring it up. Okay. So this guy is the main focus. God, I can't talk. Okay, anyway, let's take a look at the figure overall. So he's got a lot of sculpted lines. He is... Jeez, this is hard to do at night. He is sporting a much darker blue, like I said, so I wish it was a bit lighter, but I knew it wasn't when I bought him, so Okay, and he's got the big kind of 90s style eyes. I feel this is like Mark Bagley much more than Todd McFarlane, but I also didn't actually read the Todd McFarlane books because I wasn't into comics at that time. So some of my first stuff was Maximum Carnage. So though it was already old by the time I read it, it was the graphic novel version. Okay, and he's got toe hinges, but unfortunately they've got these little divots in the plastic cut out. So that's kind of unfortunate. I wish that he wasn't that way. Yeah, so this guy, overall, I think he's got a pretty good aesthetic to him, but he's still not quite what I wanted because I would like a lighter blue. But I think I stick with my Mafex Spider-Man for that. So this guy is more durable than a Mafex. So that's a good thing when I teach kids and kids are around my figures. Don't exactly want them breaking my Mafex. So, but anyways, let's look at his poseability. He can look up quite far like that. Okay, he does have this neck, so he can look a little more natural and a little more wiry or spindly or lithe, however you want to say it. I think I was saying it lithe all these years, and I think it's actually lithe. But anyways, his butterfly joints are like this, we saw before, and they come in that far, so you can get him to go across to really far. Okay, and back back like that. So okay, and then bicep joints, shoulder joints go around normal. Arms up to there, his biceps swivel. Double jointed pinless elbows will get you, sorry, just a second. We'll get you that far. So pretty good. And he's got usual hinge. It's a little bit stiff. Hinge and pivot at the wrist. And his diaphragm joint will go forward about that much and back about that much. He's got a little bit of a bump here, but it's not too bad. And if we add in kind of reverse ab crunch, can go back really far, and he can go forward combined that far. Okay, and then his hips, he doesn't have a torso twist, so that is a drawback, but his hips drop down. He can kick up extremely high because of that drop down feature. He can do the splits about that far, so it's still not perfect, which kind of stinks considering he's expensive, but it's not the worst thing in the world. It's better than most of the Spider-Mans, I think. I think it's better than every Spider-Man I have besides the Mafex, and the Mafex I don't really push to do the splits, so I can't remember his poseability. You have to check my old video on that. He can kick up that high, well, higher than, as I said before. He's got the swivel thigh cut. It's not a swivel, it's a thigh cut. And he's got the double jointed pinless knees. They'll go about there, or if you bend this part more, about there. Okay, he can kick up like that. And his legs do go back a little bit. It can go back quite a bit, actually. Okay, and then he does have a boot cut. Thank God. If he didn't have that, it'd be terrible. He's got the ankle hinge and pivot and the toe joint. Okay, so I think this guy is my favorite Marvel Legends Spider-Man that I have. I do like this Amazing Fantasy a lot, and I like its build, but the more wiry, sorry, that's not in focus. The more wiry Spider-Man is more like what was going on in the comics when I first read the comics. So I do have to like that a little bit better just because it matches the aesthetic I grew up with. But and then the Renew Your Vows is here, but he stands just a little bit too tall. I think I'm going to take his feet off and put him on to another character. But they're actually close, but my thing is bumping up here, so it's not a fair comparison. There, you can see more correctly. Okay. Sorry, the cardboard overlays or overlaps itself on that sort of overlay part where they join, so it does bump up. Okay, and as far as the figure goes, the reds, let's see, the reds match quite well. They're not a perfect match, but I think head swaps are going to be possible. This one, it swaps, but it doesn't look great because the number of web lines is just too different. So unfortunately, it's not a great fit. Okay, and with this older fashioned 60s head, oh wow, that's tight. That one just looks goofy. Yeah, it's too long of a neck. So that doesn't work. Darn. Okay, I'm going to put the original head back on that, and we're going to try the Renew Your Vows. We're going to try to change to this 90s looking head. And it looks a little bit small. It looks a little bit small. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for me anyway. Okay. We've got different heads, but not a great match with any of the others. So I think I'm gonna keep it for this guy. Okay. What was I gonna say before? I was going to say let's take these guys out and we'll do some other size comparisons so you can see him compared to this older cap. Sorry, my other caps are at home right now. Is this in focus? It's in focus, but it does look dark. And with Iron Man, really need this surface to be flat. Can't really see them side by side, so I'll scoot Iron Man over. There we go with the Iron Man. And then we have this Hulk with my custom head, or it's just a first appearance Hulk head that I repainted. Okay, and then we've got Ant-Man. Wow! Ant-Man's gonna fall down. Ant-Man is just a little bit taller than him, it looks like, but they are very similar in height. And last but not least, we got Blade here. Blade is actually a bit short, but his legs are spread out too. If I put those together, there. Now Blade comes across as a little bit taller. Yeah, just slightly taller. Okay, I'm sorry, this is kind of a rambling review, so I'm gonna leave it at that, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. I'll try to do Spider-Man 2099 tomorrow if I have a chance. So, thanks for joining me on this review, and as always, hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.